to DSACO Up for Discussion. We are officially kicking off Season 2, and we couldn't be more excited to be back with you. Before we jump in, I just want to share a quick reminder that World Down Syndrome Day is coming up on March the 21st. We're going to have a celebration for our families. That information will be coming soon. But in the meantime, we are going to be celebrating and talking about Down syndrome, and our awareness luncheon is scheduled for Tuesday, March the 3rd, and it will be at the Central Oklahoma Home Builders Association off Britton Road starting at 11 o'clock. So please come out and support us and learn some more about our adults and young individuals with Down syndrome and hear from some of our parents some great stories. We also have our World Down Syndrome Day t-shirt pre-order sales that are going on. So if you'd like to order one of those t-shirts, you can go to our website at DSACO.org/WDSD for World Down Syndrome Day. Just click on that link and you can get your pre-ordered t-shirt, and then also purchase tickets to attend our luncheon on March the 3rd. And these t-shirts are just a fun way for us to celebrate inclusion and raise awareness and support individuals with Down syndrome in our community. So get those in before February the 7th, and Addie will post a link in the episode notes so you can check that out as well. Now today we have a very exciting guest with us, and I'm really excited to talk to her today and get this conversation started because this is a new program at DSACO that we are offering, and it's something that we've talked about for a long time, and we finally were able to get some contracts together and put some things together, and we are going to now be offering employment services at the Down Syndrome Association for our adults. And I know that's a huge topic for our teen and adults and family members. That's always a concern. What are they going to do after high school? And now that we have an employment contract here at DSACO, we actually have several. I'll let our guests tell you more about that. But today we're joined with Megan Wilson. She is a rock star. We love Megan. We are so excited that she's on staff with us. She's our new employment services specialist, and she works under the DRS contracts, employment contracts for us to help individuals build skills, gain confidence, and find meaningful employment opportunities within our community. And it's not an easy task. There are a lot of check boxes necessary for the contracts, but we're so excited to have you, Megan. So let's just dive in and get to know more about Megan. So Megan, first,
yes,
welcome.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about yourself so that the listeners know who you are, because I think that's really important, because you're going to be working with our individuals, and we're about relationship building here.
Yeah, so my name is Megan Wilson. I started here almost a year ago already, which is wild.
Yeah.
So background, so I graduated high school, immediately became a parent while going to college, and then transitioned out of that when they wanted to work with my school schedule. And so then I started at Not Your Average Show, and I left there about a year ago. Mm-hmm. And over that time, since 2022, I've been in HTS.
Oh, yeah.
With Danielle Robinson. You might know her. She's a little sassy.
Yes.
And that really introduced me to DSACO. She would sign up for many volunteer opportunities, and since I was working with her, I would also come and just got more involved. And then last year at the luncheon, Riley jokingly offered me an AmeriCorps position. She said, "You can choose out of the two. I don't care, but which one you want, you're hired." I said, "Okay, great."
Yeah.
So it was either the employment services one or social engagement, and I'm like, I don't want to do social engagement. As you can tell, I'm not very extroverted. And so I chose the employment one, came on as an AmeriCorps member, transitioned out of Danielle's as her HTS, and then I, of course, lost funding, but then we came back, and I'm on payroll now, and here we are.
Yep.
And we're at DSACO.
And we have how many contracts now? We have
4 contracts.
4 contracts with DRS.
Yes, we have supplemental employment services, supported employment. We have support services for employment, and then we have one more. But they're all so close and accurate. Employment
and retention.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning, this has been a learning curve for all of us because these contracts are no easy task to manage for sure because everybody has to kind of fit in a box.
Yes.
And we have to label them. We hate doing that, to be honest. So we're just trying to figure out what best contract they fit on. And there's a lot of I know check boxes that you have to do. But if you could just briefly talk a little bit about the process.
Yeah.
Because we're what that means for for us to have these contracts, it means that DSACO is a provider to help find job employment services. So anybody can select us.
Yes.
Our preference is to help individuals with Down syndrome first, obviously, because that's part of our mission. So anybody that is in transition services now and is looking for meaningful employment can choose us to help them find a job and work with the counselor.
Yes.
But I'll let you kind of take a deep dive because you know more of the details. So just walk us through the process if somebody's new to this.
Yeah. So initially, you have to be able to reserve DRS services. So the first step, if you're not a DRS client already, you start with the application, which either I can provide or you can get off their website, and then you search the area that you live in. And
What age is that eligible for? Is it 16?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they can start at age 16. So if you're 16, you can automatically start applying for DRS services.
Yes, and if you're in school, you should be able to
They
do
should
it
be
through
telling
the school.
you.
Yes.
Yes.
And then once you fill out the application, majority of the time for those who haven't ever had services or it's been a while and they want to use us directly as a provider, they'll reach out and then I'll send in their application and CC them on it. Because I think it gives more credibility if it's coming from us to say, hey, like, here's their application.
Right.
Let's get this process started. And then the DRS counselor who's assigned to them will reach out, do the assessments, evaluations, and then ultimately at the end of that, you write your IPE, which is your individual plan for employment. And then once that is written and you sign it, you agree with everything, the vocational goal. So basically what position you want to work. Then that gets sent to me as a referral, and then I take that referral, we meet for an intake, and then after we do our intake, for me to learn more about the individual and what exactly they're thinking about employment, then I will send an authorization request to the DRS counselor, and then just request for services. And then once they approve it, we're good to go.
Mm-hmm. And then do they pick which contract that the person served on based on their assessment?
Yes, and depending on priority groups. So
Okay.
all of our self-advocates are in priority group 1, so therefore they're automatically put on supplemental and supported.
And that means they get the most services, right?
Yes.
So that means that they have you at their, right at their right hand. And I just want to clarify that, this is something new, so that there are going to be a few hiccups along the road. But your goals can change at any time.
Yes.
So you can make an addendum or a change order, basically, to your plan. So if you get in there with the counselor and like, okay, I think I want to work in a bakery, but then after some thought, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to work in an admin office or do something, more tactile. That can be addressed at the time, and then you can pick up after that.
Yeah, and that can be addressed at any time.
Yeah.
So we've already had 2 or 3 clients who have changed their vocational goal from when they met with the DRS counselor to when we've had discussions. Some of them have taken a little longer just because they have to amend it and then resend it, and then you have to re-sign it, and then that's what's on file, and the updated one gets sent to me. But relatively, it takes about a week.
And so, in the time frame of all of this, it should probably take less time than it does. But realistically, probably a couple of months, would you say, to get somebody, through the process, and then now we're going to start looking for a job.
Yes, if we're starting at the very beginning with the DRS application, it will take about 2.5 months, depending on scheduling.
Sure.
And I think it also depends on your DRS counselor, because some are just on it. They're like, let's get this done. Whereas some, they might be a little more overloaded in the moment, and so it takes some more time. But ultimately, about 2 months.
But I would just say, listener, Megan is really good about keeping you along. Like, here you are in the process, and here's what we need to do next. But yeah, you're right. It's based on everybody's schedule because everybody's kind of busy, and the caregiver, it's necessary that they're there with the client. I get that.
Yes.
I'm just so excited that we can now say we get to employ people, and we did have our first person that you found a job for.
Yes, a week ago.
Yeah. So we're really, really excited for that. So after that, then Megan, you just kind of work with the individual to find out what jobs, and then you go out to businesses, right?
Yes. So I go out. I always do it based on where they live.
Correct.
And to see what is there based on the vocational goal, unless they have a specific place.
Yeah.
And then if it's not within that 10, 15 minutes, then as long as that's what they want and it works transportation-wise,
right,
I'll go look for it outside that radius. But yeah, I'm conferring with businesses. The longest thing that I think I've struggled with is corporate approval for us to go in to do the job shadowing, the assessments.
And that's just a liability concern.
Exactly.
Corporate offices just have to make sure that they've, that we're fall under their liability rules.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. So now that you kind of do that, can you share a little bit with us about, a brief description of what each contract is? Because I know it can get intense, but you talked about priority groups and the different contracts, but the supplemental supported employment is the one that most people fall into.
Yes.
For our group, and they're going to get the most supports.
Yes. That is like very beginning supports, and so the assessments. So if they've never had a job or if it's been a while, the first thing I would typically start with for an authorization are the assessments. So it's 2 situational assessments in businesses that connect with their vocational goal. So say we have an individual who wants to work in food service, which we do have quite a bit.
Right.
I specifically looked at, what type of food does she want to work with? What position? And is that just food, or is that also retail? What does that look like? So then for that specific client, I put down a retail store that's 10 minutes from her house, and then I chose a food service place that was 8 minutes from her house, and I conferred with mom and her, and it worked. And so then at that point, once I get the approved authorization from the DRS counselor, then I can go in to those businesses and say, hey, I have an individual who really wants to work here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be here, but she needs the experience to come in to get that exposure to say, hey, do I really want to do this type thing?
Right.
And then go through the corporate approval, and once we get everything covered, then we can go in for a couple hours to see if that's something she wants to do.
Right.
And that's just the first initial step, really, for any of our clients and who I've been working with thus far.
It's almost like a test drive. Let's test it out and see if it works. And this employment opportunity might not be what they want, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to pull out. Let's redo this again. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. So I like that we get to mold it to the individual, and you go in and you also talk to them about modifications.
Yes, and accommodations.
Yes, and then of course, kind of helping them train alongside them, which I think is very reassuring to me as a mom to know that you'd be there right by them as a job coach for as much or as little as they need, right?
Yes, and it's supplemental overlaps with supported employment. So we have SES and then SE. And supported employment basically is after they do get a job, the first 90 days, but it's broken down into sections. So the first 4 weeks, first 8 weeks, and vice versa, of on-site support and accommodations. And so then the ultimate goal at the end is for me to naturally fade out, and then the natural supports within the environment from the employer, coworkers, and the family remove me from the equation. So that it's just the individual. And that's what we want. We want them working independently on their own and making their own decisions. However, with the retention contract, you can check in to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and that the individual is supported. And
and still, being able to work there and not being treated like, they're sitting in the back and they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Things like that. Do you work with them on salary? Or how is that determined?
Yes.
So do you have a conversation with the businesses about that?
So one of the trainings that's required for the contracts is the Social Security Work Incentive training. So that it tells you what SSI, SSDI is, what the differences are. And we actually got a little chart to see, like, if we put in, say, pay rate, what that would look like in a monthly. It's a whole thing. Just so it doesn't affect their social security. And so the client that we just got the job for about a week ago, that was one of the conversations we had. And so they approached me to discuss pay before they sent out the onboarding information. And I said, if that's what you pay everyone starting out, that's great, because we want this to be just an experience, like for anyone else that you were hiring for this position.
Right.
But let's also confirm that this works. And so then I was like, you guys should contact her and her mom to have that conversation. And if you need me in it, we can go over it. And they were like, it works. And we're like, okay, great. And so then they sent the pay rate that anyone entry level would also get.
And she's doing a great job.
And she is doing a great job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We love that. So, also, can you kind of explain a little bit about some of the individuals you're currently helping? And, just talk through maybe some scenarios that have happened so that, because not everybody's the same. We get that.
Yeah, so currently we have 9 confirmed clients, and we have 2 or 3 that are tentative. So I think by February we'll have 12 confirmed clients.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And so, of course, touched on the individual who has just gotten a job. And that process in itself, initially, I think the biggest hang up was corporate approval.
Yeah.
And when I was calling and emailing, they kept taking my information but not passing it along to the correct people. And things happen, especially around the holidays, and it was just a really awkward time. And then there are some other clients where it's not necessarily the corporate side of it, it's just more of finding the businesses, because they're a lot more specific.
Right.
Instead of it being a lot more of a broader vocational goal, they're like, I want to do this, this, and this. Great. But it's narrowed so much that it's kind of harder to find them.
Yeah.
That type
Probably
of environment.
The best advice would be to broaden your goals and your IP plan, so that you can find maybe another option.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't pigeonhole ourselves into saying they're only going to work at this place and these hours and do these things.
Yeah. And so I've run into that with a couple, and I think I've slowly been able to sit down with them and their family to explain, like, I know you want to do this, and that's my goal to get you there, but in the meantime, can we look at maybe a situation where we could go in for a couple hours that checks through your 4 boxes just to get that experience. Because ultimately that is your goal, but is that something you really want to do if you haven't been exposed to it?
Because we want these to be long-term employment opportunities. We don't want it to be, let's try it out for a couple months and then we're done.
Exactly.
Like, this is a set deal.
Yes.
And they stay as long as they, are willing and wanting and can do.
Yes, and I think some of their perspectives have started changing into that mindset, because they're like, I just want a job. That's it. That's the only goal. That's all I see. I don't see anything past that, which is great.
Yeah.
But you're going to obtain one. How can you maintain it?
So how do you, do you talk through different skill sets with everybody? Is that how you start the conversation about their assessment goals?
Yes, and it also helps reading all of the referral paperwork that I get from DRS, and majority of our clients, I know.
Yeah, that's a bonus.
Yeah, it definitely is, because if I didn't know them, I think I would find it a lot harder to be able to make those connections. But since I do know them, I'm like, I know what you can do.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on now.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just say, part of this is a segue from the self-advocacy center or when you finish your transition program at school, the segue, the next step is to then come and meet with you and look for meaningful employment. So Robin already teaches a lot of those pre-employment services through pre-ets that we do, which is nice, and so we'd like to gradually keep it going, and then there's not just stop. So that's kind of the free flow from the office here, which is kind of nice that you know what the next step is or what the next level is. And so what's kind of been the most rewarding thing for you? You just started, so you just dived in, and you have 12 clients now, but it took a while to get to those, I know that. But what's kind of been the most rewarding so far?
I think with the contracts and having to go out and making further connections, I think it's just opened my eyes to the gaps. And so the most rewarding thing is just having the conversations, even though like the business doesn't approve us to go in. It's just I can see a light bulb going off, and like, you know what? Why haven't I considered this? Maybe not now, but in the future.
Right.
And I think that's been one of the most rewarding, other than seeing within the process, seeing them grow, all of the clients, and just like with the previous client getting a job a week ago, like just seeing her light up, because I don't think she realized like she could do that.
And you've even gone on interviews with some of them already. And prep them for that. So I think you go way above and beyond what the contract states, obviously. But I mean, and I think that's just a true testament to how much you love this community and our kids and our families and are really a part of our mission. And as a parent, I can't appreciate that more than enough, because that is something that no one's ever really taken the lead on my kid and saw their abilities, and you do that. And I think that's rewarding in itself to me, but I just appreciate you doing that so much. But as parents that are listening out there, because it's kind of scary to think like sending our kids out into the workforce and being by themselves. That's something we have to change. So kind of what advice would you give to caregivers to cut the apron strings? I know that's so hard.
I know. I think the biggest thing is, I know there's a lot of it's a hard process. It takes forever. It does take some time. But I think if you trust the provider, so for DSACO ultimately, which is me, if you have to trust that they're going to do their job. Right. Because if you don't trust that they're going to do their job, it's not going to really work out, because you already have so many things going against them. Right. And ultimately, it's not about you. It's about your child or the individual that you love. And even if you have some hesitancies, they're ready to go for it. I know, they are. They're ready to jump into the world.
They're already ready before we are.
Exactly.
I always say, I'm the one that puts the limits. Kirsten doesn't. But I know that when she gets to the point for, these contracts and employment services, good luck with her. She's ready.
And I think ultimately, if you have someone who's willing to put in that extra time and effort, like you said, I do go above and beyond. I do a lot more than I necessarily should, but I know ultimately the long-term goal is for them to be successful, and they get to say no matter what in the journey. So if I can check all those boxes that they want, or majority of them, you can't get them all.
And then hopefully you're just doing the check-ins for them all eventually. But 12, wow. We were only planning for 6 this year. So that's double. So, we might have to get you some help, because I don't know how you're going to do 12. But
I don't know either.
But that's really exciting. And I think looking ahead, that's what I'm most excited about, is you're already changing lives for 12 individuals dramatically. And I think that's just going to continue to grow. And we've never had this opportunity, not at the organization, but really not even afforded to parents. And I think that's really what's most meaningful to me, not just as a parent, but to see the organization take that lead. So, what would you say is the most exciting thing ahead?
Ooh.
Shooting for 20 next year?
I mean, we might hit 20 by the end of this year.
Oh
for
my
real.
goodness.
I think the most exciting
That's
thing
exciting.
is just to see where, like, initially, like, signing the contracts and, like, really learning the nitty-gritty
Yeah.
of them and just going through the brunt of, like, all of, like, the minutia things. And, of course, there's going to be minutia things along
Right.
the way. But just changing my perspective of,
Mhm.
okay, behind the scenes I got this.
Right.
But how can I make the impact moving forward
Mhm.
that's gonna lay the foundation, just not for our individuals, but beyond that.
Absolutely. I mean, I just see this program growing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the more we get it out there. So, a listener, if you are have a loved one that's about 16 or getting ready for transition and graduating from that program or from high school, you need to contact us and get in touch with Megan right away so that she can start the process to get one of your individuals on the contracts and help them find meaningful employment. But besides that, you also help them navigate systems to get to their employment
Mhm.
opportunity, whether it's Embark or Send a Ride.
Yeah.
So that there's a lot of independency going on as
Mhm.
well, because we want them to do those things,
Yes.
and they can.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that it's also allowed me to learn
Yeah.
more about other programs that we have, where, like you mentioned, transportation,
Mhm.
SSI.
Yes, those other supported resources
Exactly.
that those are hard conversations sometimes to have, and they're so needed. But if you have a one-on-one here with Megan, she's going to figure it all out for you. She's going to tell you about your Social Security and what's going to be withheld from there, or what paperwork you might need to file, and then you do try to find employers that have transportation around them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we've had that discussion.
Yes.
Because it's all a package, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But Megan, we are just so thankful that you're on staff here, and we love having you. And you have really, really changed the trajectory for DSACO, and I can't wait to see what other employment opportunities come about. And we'll be sharing all of those on our social media accounts. So we just shared our new employee opportunity, so take a look at that, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see the behind the scenes of how she got that job. So we're just really excited for the program and the services that you guys provide. So for our listeners out there, thank you for kicking off season 2 with us. We're so excited for what's coming ahead, and we can't wait to share some more conversations with you like this, and how we're going to develop some more programs and opportunities for our loved ones with Down syndrome. But before we wrap it up, I just want to say one last reminder about World Down Syndrome Day. Our luncheon is coming up on March the 3rd. We will have a family organization celebration on March 21st, which is World Down Syndrome Day. More information to come on that soon. And then you can still pre-order t-shirts to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day, and that link will be available in the show notes. But the deadline for those t-shirts is February the 7th. You can also buy your tickets to the luncheon through that website link as well. That we will post that in the show notes as well. And for those of you out there, if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who wants to learn more about employment services and opportunities for inclusion. But until next time, keep advocating, keep empowering, and keep educating. Thank you. Bye.